Mike Parson.
What are you cackling at, fatty? Too much pie, that's your problem.
And Fred Slow.
Anybody want a peanut?
On demand 24/7 at WeighInRadio.com.
Hey, Marco.
Rubio.
No, it's Polo. That's the classic mistake OMP would make.
You know
Fred
what?
Slow. Oh, go ahead.
We had Polo licked until Jenny McCarthy came along and told everyone to stop vaccinating their kids.
You know, I'm a proud member of my local Rotary chapter, which the Rotary has for at or near 70 years been combating polio, and we expect to have polio completely eradicated by 2020. So,
yeah, but seriously, I mean, has Jenny McCarthy and the anti-vax crowd, have they pushed that deadline back a little bit?
No, and it's like any vocal minority group. They're just loud.
Yeah,
just loud. You know,
loud and too proud.
And the thing about minority groups, and hey, that's not a race thing. That's not where I'm going with this, Mike. I'm talking about any group that is less than another group in numbers only.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
Okay, so people who don't believe in vaccines, people who still think Fin is a good diet option, people who are idiots is basically what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I've never heard of Fin, but that's probably not important.
It was like a dietary thing. They put it in chips or something to make your beehole leak.
Oh, you mean Olean with cholesterol?
Oh yeah, cholesterol. Yeah, that's what I meant. Fin might have been a pill.
I've never heard of it.
I'm Fred Slow. You are Mike Parsons. This is the weigh-in. We are excited to have everyone here. Episode 3. Crazy week last week. I was out of town, so we missed an episode. We're not going to do that again, though, Mike.
Yeah, we're gonna get our crap together here because
we're too experienced for this.
Yeah, Fred, as you know, most podcasts they do this thing where they just record whenever, and then they end up doing 3 episodes and they stop.
Well, and we're not going to do it like everyone else. We're going to do 4 episodes and then we're going to stop.
We're going to do 4 episodes, wait 3 weeks for a 5th episode, say we lost it, and then stop.
I love how every podcast has the lost episode, and they talk about it all the time like it's the best piece they ever produced, but it never one time existed.
Those are the podcasts that bill themselves as comedy, but there's not a single funny person on the podcast. Have you noticed that, Fred? Every podcast says it's a comedy, but there's not a whole lot of funny people actually podcasting.
On iTunes, we are news and current events.
Good. You know why? Because the expectations of comedy is too much.
Well, no, I personally am not funny. I cannot do a set. I am not an actor. I cannot be in a play. I can do some maybe content stuff, but situationally, I'm just not a funny guy.
You know who you're funnier than? Andy Samberg.
Oh, I can't sing as well, but yeah, I would agree.
There's certain comedians out there who people think are funny just because they think that they're supposed to be funny. Like, people see Andy Samberg and said, okay, well, this guy's billed as a comedian, so what he's doing here, I guess it's supposed to be funny. Maybe it's funny to somebody else, but I've just never seen it.
No, I understand completely. It's classic Amy Schumer thought. Amy Schumer I was always told she was funny. I was always told that. And then once they put a little bit of money behind her and gave her an actual script, okay, now she's funny.
After Glee, Jane Lynch was the same way. Jane Lynch. Exactly. She was funny, but then all of a sudden she had to be funny for money, and she had to be funny on demand, and she had to be funny with people writing for her that weren't funny, and then it just diluted the Jane Lynch humor brand.
Well, and Jane, she's got one joke. Betty White had one joke. Amy Schumer has one joke. That joke's going to play out, and then you're just not funny anymore.
And then Andy Samberg, hopefully he finds his joke.
And good luck to him. And his people. He's a good guy. Maybe he's a good guy. I guess I don't know that.
You know, Fred, later on in the show, we're going to be talking about another comedian that seems to have missed the mark, but we digress. I believe that you were about to talk about something.
Oh, God. Yeah, right before we came on the air, I was going through the Facebook feed, and you don't know this, Mike, but today's Labor Day. We're recording. Today, the local newspaper in my town that reaches at or near 50,000 subscribers wrote a really nice article about me and put it on the front page.
What?
Yeah, isn't that nice? It's a little profile, talks about me, what I do in the community, talks about some of my broadcast stuff, and it's a really nice thing.
Did they plug us?
No, they did not plug us specifically.
Thanks for nothing, Fred.
It's paid gigs only. So anyway, so every single text message that I have gotten today just talks about how I'm like a huge piece of shit and how like what is this newspaper doing wasting their time? And these are the friends I have, Mike. Like,
well, these are people who know you. They're not like strangers. Like, hey, isn't this that asshole who poisoned the pool earlier this summer?
yeah, right. No, they're like we want more articles on the Skinner concert. What's going on here? Like,
Fred, our generation is weird. Our generation, we show friendship by being terrible to each other.
oh, and I'm the king of that. If this was the Game of Thrones, I'm sitting on the Game of Insults. I'm number one.
I think people see me and they think that I like that kind of back and forth where, I like to bust people's balls and they think, oh, well, I can bust his balls too. When really, the type of relationship I want is where I bust everyone's balls and everyone else kisses my ass.
I also feel like in today's age, like through social media or through texting or through these like non-verbal lines of communication, a lot of the people who say stuff to me, it's not their own stuff. I feel like they Google like something to say when your friend accomplishes something, insult, and then they send that to me.
You know what? I see that all the time, Fred. You'll see a meme that goes around the internet. It's all over your Facebook feed for like a week, and then a month passes and somebody posts it as their own words.
Self-quotes are the worst quotes, but self-quotes are the worst quotes when you're stealing that quote from some e-cards.
That's another thing, Fred. You hit on something. When someone says something really deep and they have to let you know that it was them. Like it's kind of take it for granted unless you actually like source somebody else that it's you saying it. But you could tell someone thinks that they're so deep and so insightful that they want to make sure that they get their Joel Osteen, Dr. Wayne Dyer offshoot quote and put there like something deep like what if all the insects I've killed, their family comes back for revenge? Mike Parsons.
Right.
Just make sure you know that I said that.
I know that is something you said for a fact because I saw you quote it earlier this week. And I have a friend on my Facebook feed, and I'll send you her link off the show. Let's not use her name. But she constantly is writing about like how she's like one up the authority and how she's like better than the man. And then after she writes and like tells these like elaborate long stories, if she doesn't get like enough likes or shares or comments, then she'll share her own thing to make sure people have another chance to see it. Stop that. Stop doing that.
And this is a weird thing for a guy podcasting from his basement to say, but not everyone needs a platform.
We need to align ourselves with some sort of like organization. So it seems like we're a part, like Donald Trump with the Republicans. Yeah. We need to say we're part of a group, even though we're not part of that group, just to like justify our own existence.
Right. So that we're not just a couple of jerks talking crap in our basements, trans the Midwest.
I had a bunch of my buddies over this weekend, Mike, and they came down in the basement, and I got the new Madden. I'm that guy. They come down in my basement, and I got the studio set up where me and you have been doing our project together. And these guys that come over, they were guys I did the 2 Over Skydive program with, or I'd done, some other podcasts with. And they all, literally at the same time, they all look at me and go, "Did you just forget to call us, or what's up?"
Yeah, right.
Oh, sorry, fellas.
Yeah, that'll be next week's episode. How to passively aggressively break up with your podcast partners.
If I wanted to, say I know you got some stuff coming over in your personal life. Say you need to take a week off, right? I just took a week off. We could have had Kyle Bauer sit in, but we didn't. If I have one of those guys sit in, it'll be 1 straight hour just bashing me from those guys, and it'll be the best episode we ever do.
Right. Well, you did have that idea, Fred, to do a podcast where our wives just talk crap about us.
Yeah, well, it would do really great. I don't know about Heather's timing, but I know she's got tons of content.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, I think if it's just a one-off podcast, they could probably write a few drafts, kind of refine things, take it to a ghostwriter, help them word things a little bit better. Now, if that happened, what would Heather's lead topic be when she's talking crap about you?
Well, it would all be like, what's that called? I'm searching for a word. This is terrible. It would be very exotrinsic. So it would be like, she would start with, yes, I'm 5'2", he's 6'6".
Yeah.
And then from there it would grow. Cause that's like her number one pet peeve. Like, oh, and her, like, and number two is like, she gets this question all the time. My friends, my family, her friends, her family, how do you deal with him? And then,
Right,
and then
exactly.
jokes come from there.
I would imagine that Weisenheimer would ask a lot of sexually explicit questions as well, with the height difference. But I'm not going to do that, Fred, because it's none of my business, and I don't care.
No, you're a good dude. I appreciate that. Mike, do you? And I hate to jump gears quickly. Do you follow the Skim? Are you a subscriber to the Skim?
Never heard of it.
Okay, the Skim is a website. It's the Skim, and what it does is it's kind of like 5 things you should at least pretend to know.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so it's very similar to that, but it sends it to your email, right? So I feel like it's written by like an early 20s, maybe like a feminist, maybe from like a Midwestern college, but maybe she's like way more liberal than she should be with her religious upbringing.
Okay.
Kind of viewpoint on every story in the world. Are you following me on this this caricature I've created?
Yeah, it sounds like a mix of Kicker and Jezebel.com.
And it's actually a mix of every single thing on the internet you find.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds awful.
Oh, Mike, it is the absolute worst. And I don't know how to change the internet, and I'm not going to try. I know you've tried to fix the internet.
Yeah.
Cannot be done. But this Nicole Arbor, who's bringing like opposite viewpoints to the everyone should be sweet and lovely and everyone should be appreciative of everyone's individual struggle. I feel like Nicole Arbor is my new everything. I feel like I've fallen in love with her very quickly.
Okay, hold that thought because we're up against the break, and I've got a lot to say about it. You've got a lot to say about it. So on the other end, this Nicole Arbor chick, who is she, and why does she have half the internet pissed off? It's the Weigh-In, weighинradio.com. Cut. Okay. That was good.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. That one's 16 minutes. We'll go.
Hey, remind me to post a link to that article I was just talking about on our website.
Okay. Well, which one? Oh, the one about you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. I think that was 13 minutes. I think we were rolling for about 3 minutes before we hit it. Okay.
I think we started at 105.
Okay. Oh,
205.
105 your time. Okay. So, yeah, that'd be exactly 12 minutes. Okay, here we go.
Now, back to the weigh-in.
I'm a little worried about being a slut.
Weighинradio.com.
All right, so before the break, Fred, you were talking about this YouTube celebrity, Nicole Arbor, who I've never heard of until yesterday when she got the entire internet in an uproar. Because I got to be honest, Fred, it's just, just one thing I have no desire to be knowledgeable about is internet celebrities. I mean, I understand that it's an art form and there's a lot of skills that you have to utilize to become that big. You have to have talent as broadcaster. You have to know marketing. You have to have some video editing skills. But I just feel like I've seen one too many YouTube rants with way too many jump cuts and a casual F-bomb every 10 seconds. It's like you take a take and then you make it a hot take by dropping an F-bomb every few minutes. Add a couple of jump cuts with you reacting to it or going off topic, and that's how you get a YouTube channel. Also, it helps if you're a good-looking woman.
Jenna Marbles, yes, but I think you put a good edit on anything, right? You put a good edit. People have done spoken word about God. People have done what we're about to talk about with Nicole Arbor about fat shaming. People can get a message across with a good edit. I can make you the most with the right kind of money. I mean, let's be realistic here. It takes a couple bucks to do these things. With the right kind of backing, I can make a message that would convince you with no sort of question or no sort of insecurity at all that it is absolutely okay at this point in your life to do methamphetamines.
Right. And then would start with, I'm sick of all these effing people telling me to not have effing meth, and then cut, and then you go back to your rant. It's just, I don't know. I feel like I'm having
You know how clean I get my house when I'm on meth? My house is the cleanest it's ever been. And then I would just show you like me doing like some cleaning motions, like wax on.
Yeah, right, exactly. But it has to be a really jerky cut. And you have to be like somewhere totally different in the frame.
We did on the Toyota Skydive program for a long time. We did this segment called Ask an Asshole, and it was this real pretty girl that I came up with, and she was okay funny. And if I wrote her joke, she was real funny. Yeah, so we did the exact same thing. Hard cuts and a lot of contrast on the coloring, and then before you know it, we're getting tens of thousands of views, and we are no one. We are nothing.
So Nicole Arbor, she posts this video called Dear Fat People. It's a 6-minute rant about, well, Fred, I only watched it once, and it was hard for me to watch it because, like I said, I wasn't really offended by what she was saying. It's just that... if it's a video and there's no nudity, I just don't have the attention span for it.
What's the point? What is the point?
Yeah, exactly. But she seems to have a following. She was ranting about, I guess she was ranting about how gross fat people are and how there's no such thing as fat shaming. And fat shaming was just made up by fat people who are oversensitive so they can get butt hurt. And, me personally, Fred, here, I'm fat. I've been fat my whole life. Being fat's never really bothered me. And I don't think fat's really a insult. I think it's more of a description than anything. But there are some people out there who calling them fat is the worst thing you can call them. It's worse than the F word. It's worse than the C word. It's worse than any racial slur. Some people think that being called fat is the worst thing you can possibly call somebody.
I have a job, like a day job, and I have at or near like 50 part-time employees. And this might come as a surprise to you, but just like America, about 30 to 35% of those employees are very fat.
Correct.
And I was not discriminating against them when I hired them. Like they can work from, I don't care how fat you are. If you show up to work and you don't use your cell phone while you're there, you are qualified.
Exactly.
That's all that it takes. But then I do have to make and I'm 300 pounds, man. I'm big. I get it. But I do have to make oh, go ahead, Mike.
I was going to say, you are one of the biggest human beings I've ever seen.
Size, I don't fit into regular cars. I cannot shop off the rack. And this is stuff I've all done to myself, and I get it. This Captain America shirt's a 2X.
That's more of a tarp than a shirt.
If I wanted to, I could dry an entire small minivan with this shirt. It's no big deal to me.
If I'm ever lost in the woods, we could take your shirt off. I can use it for shelter while using your body heat as warmth.
If we were stuck in the middle of the Pacific Ocean off of a Titanic-esque shipwreck, I could use this to catch westerly winds and take us home. That's how big of a shirt this is.
But go ahead. No, you go.
I don't have a problem with any of these employees being fat. I don't have a problem with anyone being fat. But what I do have a problem with is if you choose to be fat, do you believe in your heart you deserve special anything? That is the most foolish concept in the whole world to me.
Okay, but is that actually an epidemic, except for the people who are so fat that they're handicapped? Does it seem like fat people all over the place are mobilizing for special treatment? It seems like she kind of created a boogeyman that she could rally against and garner support. I see it all the time on Facebook. People come up with these made up scenarios and they act like it's the new norm just so that they can have a hot take on it and garner some indignant outrage likes.
So Nicole Arbor says in her story that, and I'm gonna assume this is where this whole thing came from, that she was offended or she was inconvenienced or she was troubled by some fat passengers on a plane. That's the idea.
That was later on, and that's the thing with YouTube. YouTube, it seems like these YouTube people, they craft their message so that the crux of their message is at the very end instead of at the beginning. And I think that's where they run into a lot of trouble, because she spent probably the first 4.5 minutes just ranting about fat people before she got to the reason as to why she was ranting about it. So by then, most people were already pissed off, because if you watch the video to the end, and it took me about 3 times because I was just so bored watching it, it's actually a positive message at the end, but she spent so much time being a turd about everything else, people weren't ready to hear what she had to say after that.
And I guess being a turd is descriptive. But I'm the kind of guy who's motivated by that kind of motivation. So like, if you tell me I'm doing something wrong, or if you tell me I'm failing because of it, or if you come down on me kind of hard, then I'm the guy that responds to that. And like when I was a kid, right? So I'm a kid, I'm riding my bike, I fall, I scratch my knee, I'm crying, man, I'm bawling my eyes out. But for real, I'm not that hurt. I'm just seeking some attention. And my dad says to me, hey man, stop being a flippin' wussy. Well, yeah, Dad, you are right. Like, and for the 20, I'm still not a wussy. Like, and I think that works for certain types of people. Maybe she's one of those types of people.
Could be, but I really got the impression from her that she's like that hot chick who no one's really been honest with because they're more interested in her looks than what she has to say. So she probably goes on these rants, and there's a bunch of dudes around just trying to get a piece, egging her on, telling her, oh, you're right. And you know what happens to people like that, Fred? Once their looks start to go, life becomes very, very tough for them, because all of a sudden now people are focusing on what they have to say, and they've had 25 to 30 years of people kissing their ass because they look good, and now that they don't look that good anymore, they're actually going to have to they're going to be challenged when they say something like this, and they're going to have to back it up.
Nicole Arbor has done a ton of things in her life that she regrets.
Yeah. I mean, have you been following Nicole Arbor, or?
No, I read her Wikipedia page, but it obviously looks like she wrote that herself. But like, she has gone through life and she's been like, hey, I'm and she says this in one of her posts. So this is maybe where I'm drawing it from. I watched a bunch of her videos. I didn't just watch the fat shaming one. I watched like the Instagram model shaming one. I watched like the history of boobs and bras and tits or whatever. And this girl is for sure made a bunch of decisions in her personal life to her career path that she's just super embarrassed about. So she's for sure done someone that she had to do to get a job opportunity, or she's for sure put herself in a situation where guys that she wouldn't normally she let. And that's what I'm saying. All this, in my opinion, it's all redirected, man.
Well, I was going to say, is this a conclusion you're jumping to? Is there evidence of this?
No, hey, just from the little bit I know about people and the little bit I know about people who love attention, these are the kind of things you do. You take these self experiences and you project them. It's projecting is what it is. She's caught a bunch of heat through her process of not making it real big coming out of Ontario or whatever town she's from in Canada. She hasn't made it as big as Jenna Marbles, and she hasn't made it as big as Philip DeFranco and some of these guys who kill it on YouTube channels. And because of that, she's like, it's time to get outlandish. It's time to make a negative scene.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing too. I mean, look, I wish her no success because I found her irritating. But the fact that she was banned from YouTube because of that seems a bit silly.
Not even though, like that's all part of her game. Like she just put those images up. Like she's not banned. Her videos are still there. I watched it today.
See, her videos are there, but aren't they reposted to other people's sites? Her actual channel itself has been taken down, but then it was reactivated.
Oh, that I don't know the logistics of that, but I know when I watched the video 20 minutes before we came on air here, it was off her official feed and it was there, and there was no issue whatsoever. I do not believe, and maybe I'm wrong, but I do not believe YouTube would censor that product. That doesn't make sense to me.
Well, I know there was a article on CNN about her being disabled, but her account being disabled. She tweeted about it, but that might not have been YouTube. That could have been, a hacker or something, someone doing a DDoS attack. I mean, I don't know about the intricacies of YouTube, but I mean, the way I see it, Fred, this YouTube celebrity I've never heard of, she made a video talking about fat people. As a fat person, if we didn't have the show for where we talk about stuff like this, I would have just closed it down and moved on. I mean, to me, fat's only an insult if you let it be an insult.
Oh, I agree. If you tell my wife she can't drive, she gets pissed. But guess what, Mike? She can't drive.
Right. It's a description, not an insult.
Well, and we're going to go a little bit bigger real quick. It's this whole every social justice warrior I know is the person that has the most free time on their hands. That's the bottom line. Like, and if this is the kind of thing that offends you, and this is the kind of thing that you want to be I know what's that comedian that just put out the response video, Mike. I'm so sorry.
Oh, it's some guy I've never heard of either, but someone posted it on my wall. But Fred, that was 13 minutes. Okay, if I don't want to watch the original 6-minute video, I definitely don't want to watch the 13-minute response video.
Oh, absolutely not. And that's what I'm saying. Like, if you're the guy who's going to have a response to this, or if whenever you go to the office on Monday, you're going to chat this up around the water cooler, your motivations might be off. I mean, college football started this weekend. Get a hobby.
Well, Fred, I'm 30 now, and my body is like a ticking time bomb of when I go from being wide awake to just falling asleep. I mean, I will sit down on the couch at about 9:45 at night feeling great. I'm going to make it through the 11 o'clock news.
Yep.
10:15, I'm out. 10:15, I'm out like a light. So I'm noticing that I only have a finite amount of energy to spend. And being angry and offended spends a lot of that energy. So to me, it's just budgeting. It's like, okay, well, look, you got this hot, thin blonde talking about fat people. Does she seem like a C word? Yeah, but who cares? Is my life any better or worse that she put this out?
Well, my life specifically is better. But it's just because people that I like to get riled up got riled up. Like, people who care about this, I love that you do, because it's easy for me.
Brett, I just don't have the energy to get that angry. That's it. I can't rally against and respond to everyone who says or does something stupid online.
You're talking about I'm 30 years old, Mike. You're 30 years old. Yeah. We've done a lot of cool things. We spent a lot of effort doing those cool things. And just recently I started running 1 hour every day because I gave a speech last weekend, and I'm a blimp. I'm gigantic, and that's whatever. But after I run for 1 straight hour and I watch the Demetri Martin stand up, my body doesn't function. I cannot lift my legs.
Right. So
don't waste it. Don't waste it. You only have so much. Don't waste it.
Exactly. To me, every minute being pissed off about something on the internet, and there's a lot to be pissed off about on the internet, but every minute I'm pissed off is 1 minute earlier I'm going to fall asleep on the couch out of nowhere.
Which is unfair to you.
And I want to live, Fred. I want to live, damn it.
I want you to live a life in a world where it's okay to be fat, and it is equally okay to make fun of fat people.
Yeah, right.
Someone ask?
I mean, take it from a fat guy, If you're not bothered by the word fat, it can't hurt you. But we do have to take a break because we went way too long talking about this broad. It's the weigh-in, weighинradio.com. All right. My internet broke up a couple times during that segment. That's probably on my end, though, not yours.
Yeah, I didn't see any issue here.
Yeah, okay. Let's see. Okay, this is your segment to quarterback.
Hold on, I got some stuff here.
Okay, we started that one at 17.
So Kim Davis, right?
Yeah.
Or no?
Yeah. You want to talk about that? There's a lot more to talk about.
Yeah, I like Kim Davis. I also saw Pornhub is giving away a $25,000 scholarship.
Ooh. I'd say do the Pornhub thing first, because that's probably something short, and then you can transition into Kim Davis. How's that sound?
Works for me.
Okay. I'm going to hit the button here, and then it's you.
Now, back to the weigh-in.
I've been on the radio quite a bit, but I want to do it like as a part-time thing. Not to make money, but because I love hearing myself on the radio.
Weighинradio.com.
Bow chicka wow wow.
Hey now. Have you ever actually heard a porn with porno music, by the way?
I've not listened to porn with audio since teenage years, maybe.
Oh, really? You watch it on mute?
Yeah, I think I even have it set up on my phone to where if it's not a YouTube video, it doesn't play automatically audio.
Yeah, well, that's good. I mean,
just in case,
I always thought watching porn with no sound was like living with your parents type thing.
Yeah, well, maybe your marriage is a little different than mine, but I can't just like sit around the house watching that all the time. I can't do that.
Right. I'm sorry, honey. I couldn't take out the garbage because I was watching porn all week.
I feel like my argument now could be, but hun, I'm helping support the youth of America, as Pornhub has just announced, Mike,
Yes.
It has a philanthropy, but people who are giving back. They have people who are giving back, and now offering a $25,000 college scholarship.
Really?
And there's no real catch, Mike. They're legitimately offering a scholarship, like
just for philanthropy, like something totally unrelated to porn.
Here in the official release from Pornhub, Pornhub very much takes this to heart that we work hard to help millions of people feel happy every single day. In turn, we would like to help support the recipient of the first annual Pornhub Care Scholarship to realize their goal of doing the same.
So nothing to do with porn. Like, I don't know. Like if you're working with the cause for sexual health or female body image empowerment, I mean, I could just be a guy who wants to collect coats for the homeless, and I can get a $25,000 Pornhub scholarship.
Yeah, you can get a BA in pizza delivery, Mike.
Or a BA in BJ's.
BJ. To mark the launch of Pornhub Cares, we are offering a $25,000 scholarship to one carefully selected recipient. Whether you're studying medicine, botany, paranormal, psychology, or anything in between, application is open to all fields of study as long as you have a GPA of 3.2 or higher.
Huh. I mean, that's nice. Good for them. I don't know, though. This sounds like it's for someone who wants to go into business for themselves. I've never gotten a scholarship before. Do people put scholarships on resumes?
I got one time. I've never put it on a resume.
Okay. Yeah, because I was going to say, you know, like you go into a job interview and it comes up that you got a scholarship from Pornhub. I think some people might think that's cool. I think some more conservative corporations may look down upon that. If you were trying to become CEO of Hobby Lobby or Chick-fil-A, that might hinder you. But I guess if I were a hiring manager and someone said they got a Pornhub scholarship, at first I'd look at them funny, and then I'd probably ask them the same questions I just asked you 5 minutes ago, and they say, "Huh, cool, all right."
Mike, I know you just mentioned that you had never actually received a scholarship. And if you were interested, all you would have to do is submit a 2 to 5 minute length video that elaborates the good work that you plan to do. Anything else you might want to say? Obviously, multiple camera angles are suggested.
Yeah, and lighting and close-ups. They should call it the Pornhub money shot.
This is just the craziest thing to me. Pornhub isn't it the second most visited website on the internet? Is that correct?
I don't know. Probably.
Yeah, I think Facebook is number 1, and then number 2 is Pornhub. I'll have to Google it.
Wow, beat out you porn and RedTube. Good for them.
Well, I mean, let's be serious about RedTube. Come on.
I mean, to me, they all blur together.
I see what you're doing there, but I love that they're going to help people. They're going to take, because they make so much money, man. They got all the money in the world, all the porn money, and no one's putting money into porn anymore.
Yeah, well, I often wonder, you know, now that porn is free all over the place, I don't think there's a whole lot of people buying memberships. So how do these websites make money?
Well, I think it's advertising, obviously. That's number 1. But then outside of that, I feel like you can do like $1 a day subscription and you get like, maybe like a forum or something. I'm not sure what you get. I don't have one.
I think some content creators also maybe pay to be advertised on the site, like Brazzers. You know, I think your Brazzers or MILF Hunter or something. You pay to get your videos high up in the searches.
Well, in like those porn producing companies, and a lot like music, there's only like 3 labels anymore.
Right.
I think they have like a ton of money thrown in. Then they just offer like the youngest Jenner girl, the one that just turned 18, Caitlin, Carolyn.
Yeah, the one who's dead inside. If that narrows it down.
They said, "Hey man, we'll legitimately give you $10 million if you and Tyga make this thing happen. Like, let's just throw it around, just $10 million."
Well, there's probably only 3 major porn producers for the same reason there's only 3 major record companies, because, you know, everyone can do it by themselves from home for free.
Well, yeah, but that's like, and you knew I was going to go here with this. That's like pro wrestling. I want to watch WWE. Okay, I don't want to watch what you're doing in your backyard on a mattress. I want the best.
Wait, are we talking about wrestling or porn now?
Both.
Oh, okay. I don't know. Maybe backyard mattress porn is a thing. There seems to be there seems to be a market out there for everything and everyone.
I would say my support level for pro wrestling over indie wrestling is like Kim Davis level of like supporting like straight marriage over gay marriage.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, Fred, we talked a little bit about this on Turn the Radio Off. I am obviously very pro gay marriage.
Sure.
But I'm not a fan of Kim Davis going to jail, and it's not because I feel like her rights are being infringed upon. It's because I feel like anti-gay marriage homophobes now have another martyr and or hero to rally around and dig their heels.
Ooh. Yeah, I didn't think about that perspective. That's pretty smart. But if the highest court in the land says do your job or go to jail, I don't even think it's about gays. I just think it's about going to jail, right?
Yeah, I mean, look, Fred, I hear it all the time. You get all these people who are afraid that, once the United States legalized gay marriage, God was going to send Godzilla to destroy the sinful land. And so this is kind of, on the surface, validating that because, yes, she's going to jail. Yes, she claims it's because of her religious beliefs. When really it's about her not upholding an oath, when it's really about her denying rights to other people. That's what I love. You get these people who hide behind freedom of religion saying, how dare you infringe on my right to infringe on others' rights?
This is classic, like, what was the Duck Dynasty guy's name? Robertson? Phil Robertson?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so he says all these terrible things about gays, which are terrible. I mean, try to argue that. You'll lose that argument. And then every single person I know. Oh, sorry, Mike, go ahead.
I just said depends on who you're talking to.
Right. Well, and the people who do support him, the way they support him is out of pure ignorance. Do you not understand what the First Amendment does? It doesn't do what you're saying it does. That's not how this works. You can't just say anything you want at any time. There are repercussions for everything.
Right. Well, and the thing is, freedom of speech doesn't mean freedom from criticism. Now, like I said, Kim Davis, it's not like the gay marriage Gestapo kicked down her door and said, hey, Kim Davis, we know that you hold an anti-gay marriage belief because she's done such a great job of protecting the sanctity of heterosexual marriage, Fred, being divorced multiple times. They gave her warning. They said, look, either you got two choices. You got three choices. Number one, do your job. Number two, quit. Number three, don't quit. Don't do your job. Go to jail. She chose it. I mean, like I said, I would have rather of them given her a fine because now you're going to get the anti-gay marriage zealots getting louder and louder. And Fred, I'm sure that as soon as they're done rallying in support of Kim Davis, they're going to go rally in support of that Muslim flight attendant who got fired because her religion says she can't touch alcohol. I'm sure those people are going to go start a rally for her as soon as they're done rallying for Kim Davis.
It doesn't make any sense what you're saying. That's never going to happen, Mike.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I'm pointing out the double standard.
There's 2 points that I'm saying to this that I don't know if are being made. Number one, Kim Davis is a municipal employee. She's appointed. Appointed jobs are different than jobs you apply for. So whenever you don't do the job you're appointed to do, you're defrauding taxpayers is what you're doing because your salary is based off taxpayers. That's why you go to jail and stuff. You don't get fired like this. It's literally theft. It's theft is what it is. So she has to end up in jail. That's just the way her job works. That's life. That's fine. But is there a chance, Mike, and this is just coming to me, it's not a complete thought, similar to like the Americans with Disability Act, will there be a group of individuals who seek out businesses in an effort to extort them? Like right now, there's lots of places around the country where if your sidewalks aren't wide enough, Americans with disabilities will come to you and they will say, we will sue you if you do not fix your sidewalks, or you can give us a couple grand and we'll just shut up. Do you feel like that could happen?
Absolutely, because You know, just because I side with one side doesn't mean that side can't take advantage. That just doesn't mean that the side that I agree with can't overstep its bounds. I think that's 100% a possibility. And I hope when it, if and when that happens, someone steps in, cooler heads prevail, and put a stop to it. But yeah, I think it's 100% possible that, there may be someone who is militant in trying to make everybody tolerant of all lifestyles that go around and try to entrap people. I hope it doesn't happen, because I think what it does is, it makes the side I agree with look bad, and people who are anti-gay marriage can point to that group and paint all of us pro-gay marriage people with that broad brush.
It took decades for like a Reverend Al Sharpton or a Jesse Jackson to kind of make their way through and garner the reputation they have garnered. For all the people they help in the causes that they support, gosh, they stir up an equal number or larger number of people on the other side of that argument. And today with your social media and your network and all the things that we talk about constantly, that whole process is going to be expedited over a set of decades to a year, 2 years, a year and some change.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is there will soon be, and this is just coming to me now, there will soon be a person, a symbol, what organization that is the head of stirring up gay rights shit. And maybe it's the person who's mad at Caitlyn Jenner for not agreeing completely with Ellen DeGeneres, or maybe it's whatever. But there's going to be a group out there that says if you are not whatever percent invested in gay rights or this cause or whatever, I'm going to cause a big effing stir.
And you know what? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say I don't think I had prepared myself for that concept, because the idea of making everything equal is not going to make everything equal. It's going to create, just like civil rights, just like suffrage, just like all these things we've gone through in the past, it's going to create a victim culture. And that's a crazy concept.
Right. And Fred, just because that there's bad actors out there who take advantage of something like that doesn't mean the cause itself is nullified. Just because Al Sharpton, he gets crooked and he'll overstep his bounds doesn't mean equality for the races is a bad thing. It just means that
yes,
somebody's bastardizing it.
That's going to happen. Yeah. Mark today's date and time, and I haven't heard this conversation anywhere else. Maybe people are having it, but that is going to happen, and it's going to be a gigantic black eye for that cause.
Well, yeah, and you know what? And then people are going to point to that and say, "See, we should have never legalized gay marriage," and that's going to suck, because absolutely you should have. And these people, if it happens, or the people who are doing it with other causes, you're right. It's a giant black eye, and what it's doing is delegitimizing the rest of the movement that's doing a lot of good. Let me ask you.
Go ahead, Mike. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, let me ask you, as you work for a municipality.
Sure.
You're in a management position.
Yes.
What would you have done if Kim Davis was your subordinate?
You're in a tough spot there. You can only do what's within your power, right? So the hardest thing in the world is to fire a civil servant. It's next to impossible. They're appointed or elected, and it doesn't work like an at-will state. I'm not sure if Michigan's at-will, but Illinois is. At any time in Illinois, at will, I can quit my job, or at will, my job can fire me.
Yeah.
But it's not the same if you're appointed or if you're elected. It's completely different.
I think
so.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. I was going to say, so you often hear about like police officers going on paid leave when some sort of controversy comes up. And this is the same concept. This girl goes on paid leave. That's my move. So you get her out of the spotlight, you get her out of the area, and then you say, well, let's look at her attendance record. Let's look at her workplace. Let's find another reason to get rid of this girl, because the heat she's about to bring me in No Namesville, Kentucky is not the heat I want, because I don't want her, and I don't want my office to become a martyr for the the gay rights activists, which sounds bad, because I feel like
anti-gay rights. She's more
What's
of a
that?
martyr for the anti-gay rights activists than the gay rights activists.
My mistake. But yes, yeah. I mean, I hate that. I hate the whole concept. But paid leave is my answer.
This is what I would do, and like I said, this is me having no clue as to how this type of stuff worked. I made a joke about it and turned the radio off. I would just make a list of things that she can do based on her religion, and just let her do that. You know, maybe what I would do, if you're a county clerk, are there other things you could do other than issuing marriage license? I'm sure there's other permits and licenses that go through there, correct?
Yeah, every single thing in the county.
You know what I would do? I would just create a department that does just marriage licenses, and then have Kim Davis do something else. Not to let her off the hook, but just like I said, to avoid this whole creating a hero for the anti-gay marriage movement, because she's been grandfathered in. She took an oath, but at the time, gay marriage wasn't legalized. So I would find a way to kind of marginalize her, push her off to do other duties that she's fine with, and then going forward, make it clear that if you want to work here, you're going to have to issue marriage license to same-sex couples.
Well, and that's a tough situation too, because it's whenever you take the job, whenever you accept the appointment, you do not state what religion you are.
Yeah.
You're not forthcoming with these are my views and beliefs on this certain subject, because you don't have to. I mean, there's no reason anyone should know. But then whenever you down the line cite those things and how they're going to interfere with your job performance, real gray area, man. Just there's not going to be a winner at the end of this thing.
Yeah, it's a tough spot, and I'm sure that she seems to be loving it. Like I said, I don't think that she is a hero for religious liberties. I think she's a hero for marginalizing other people's rights. But I don't think she should be in jail. That seems to be a bit overkill. But like you said, Fred, you can't fire an at-will employee, and you know more about this stuff than I do. So look, I'm not bummed she's in jail, but I just think that I think it was just fanning the flames further.
Well, and if there really is a God, maybe she ends up with a girlfriend while she's in there.
It's the weigh-in, weighинradio.com. Okay, that was a good segment. We went a little long with it, so we have about 8 minutes here. So, I got a couple things here. I think, you
lead, I'll follow.
Okay, here we go.
Now, back to the weigh-in.
Thank you so much for saying what needed to be said.
Weighинradio.com.
It's still real to me, damn it.
So, of course, earlier, Fred, we were talking about Nicole Arbour and how weird the internet is, and it's kind of the freak show for humanity. If you look at every emerging medium, the very early incarnations, and of course the internet's not that new of incarnation, but it's new compared to television, radio, newspaper, as you've been featured in.
Hi-oh.
But there's always this freak show element that, I took this silent movie class, and the first few movies was just of really weird stuff. And it's sort of this driving by a car accident type aspect to it. And people love a good train wreck, as evidenced by Nicole Arbour going viral, as evidence of this new trend where people live tweet other people's breakups, which I find very invasive. But there's a new trend that I don't know if it's a real trend or if it's just BuzzFeed looking for content on a slow week. But I guess divorce selfies are the new craze on the internet. Have you seen these?
Yeah, I saw I think I saw the one that you're talking about.
Yeah.
But no, I have not seen. I see it now that you're bringing up. Okay, this is weird. I don't like this.
Yeah, it's really weird. People go get divorced, and once they go to the courthouse to have it annulled, they'll take a selfie with the piece of paper that says they're divorced. And I guess maybe this is weird to me because divorce obviously I've always imagined it being a terrible consequence of things going very, very wrong. But you know, maybe with our generation, Fred, you know, like our grandparents' generation, you got married after high school and you stayed married for 60 years till one of you died. And of course, over the past 40, 50 years, divorces have become more and more common. And maybe now, you know, some of these people, a marriage is just like a relationship. You know, instead of sticking it out and trying to make it work, you're like, you know what? This isn't making me happy anymore. This isn't serving the purpose. And you get divorced. And, you know, a lot of these people look relieved. But yeah, it just gives me a creepy feeling.
Yeah, well, and if you're so immature at your divorce that you take a selfie, I can't imagine your maturity level was that much higher when you got married.
Yeah, those are probably the same people who only had a wedding so that they can make a viral video.
Oh, what's the point of having a wedding if you don't?
Exactly.
If your 5-year wedding anniversary and your 5-year high school reunion are on the same day, that's not good, Mike. Like, that's too young. Like, you should not be getting married yet.
You know, Fred, if I were still looking for, you know, that special someone, and we got all the way to our wedding day and a flash mob broke out during the first dance, or, you know, my bride started singing some stupid song, trying to upload it to YouTube, I would actually walk out of the church. Either that, or I would smile through the ceremony and get the thing annulled the next day.
I'd say, stop it. Stop. Like a dog that's in trouble.
This is not what a wedding's for.
I'm thinking out loud right here, Mike. When I've had, all right, what's a good way to say this? I've had I've been intimate with girls that I don't love, right?
Okay.
And I've been in love with girls I've never been intimate with, right? But I sure as heck am married to my best friend. Yeah, right? And with that said, I see the life that other people claim they portray, like through social media again, or through these different outlets, and they're putting like their best foot forward all the time publicly. Okay. So me and my wife, and I'm only speaking from my circumstance, me and my wife know each other's, you know, the secret, the skeletons in our closet, and we know like the trouble, and we know the bad, and we know all those things. And I think for a person with not a simple mind, because I don't want to call people stupid, but a person maybe with a simple mind, they would latch on to the idea that the grass is definitely greener elsewhere. Like, look how happy so-and-so is. Look how positive all these things are elsewhere, when it's not true. Like, everyone has their own issues and everyone has their own problems. And you think it's easy because it's easy to take a message through Facebook for someone else to tell you how great you are, or vice versa, to send that there's a better life for you elsewhere. And I don't know if that's true always. I can't buy that.
It seems like the single people are looking at pictures of their married friends saying, you know what, that's what I want. And then there's certain married people who look at pictures of their single friends doing what they want, saying, you know, I missed that. I missed that freedom. Where, you know, in reality, there's pros and cons to both. And you just have to make a decision as to what works better for you.
But I don't think you see the cons of the alternate viewpoint, is what I'm saying. When I'm looking at the young hotness of my friend on the internet, who's only putting out his most positive vibes because that's the weird culture we live in, I don't know about how much it sucks. Like, it probably sucks less here than where I'm at, but I don't know that.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know, it edits out the bad. I mean, it doesn't show him eating ramen noodles by himself on Christmas morning.
No, it does not show that at all. And this, man, we could do every single episode could be based off the social media thing, because it is the worst filter for reality that you will ever find.
It really is. And it will have to wait for another day, Fred, because we've got to go.
God, man, we do so great together. Everything about us is perfect. And if you think otherwise, then we have you fooled.
Yeah, I definitely do not look at other podcast partners and think the grass is greener over there.
Well, I mean, the obvious ones, yes. But no, for the most part, no, I agree.
Okay, weightinradio.com. Got to go. Bye.